Greetings and welcome to Maple Leaf America. This week we're in Dixie. You're looking at the skyline of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a building boom and there's a boom in hockey as well here in the South. We'll show you around. We'll also meet a 700-game NHL veteran who of course played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we'll introduce you to about a dozen professional hockey players from Ontario playing down here in Dixie. Stay with us. Maple Leaf America is next. Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. Hey, that's not Charlotte. It's Atlanta. That's right. This week's show is based in the Carolinas, but we had to come to Georgia to catch up with this week's Leafs old-timer. Tim Ecclestone, the Toronto native, played almost 700 games in the National Hockey League, 51 of them wearing the blue and white. He wrapped up his career here with the Atlanta Flames. Tim Ecclestone, the consummate family man. Ecclestones, meet the Ecclestones. They're a modern hockey family. Wait, a better 1970s TV title for this clan would be All in the Family. No bigots or controversy, just four close-knit relatives living and working side by side. Dad, former NHLer Tim Ecclestone, Mom Sue, son Mark, and daughter Sandy.
We're happy. It's kind of fun having your children around with you, and a lot of them in other families. They're out in the West Coast, East Coast, and so we have our dinners together, and we got Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the holidays together, which is nice.
Tim and Sue were high school sweethearts, still together after 4 decades. Mark lives nearby and manages Tim's restaurant.
Basically kind of grew up in the business and basically started doing dishes, taking trash out, worked my way up, and still here today. So it's great to work for.
Sandy runs a physical therapy business in the same complex as the sports bar and grill.
It's quite nice. It's fortunate, since this is my first business experience, to have my parents right upstairs. It's been great. I can basically run upstairs, ask my questions, and come on back down. So it's been a huge help for me to get off. And it's not unusual. The whole family's always worked together. My brother's upstairs with my parents, and so I wouldn't know, it any other way.
All this the result of Tim's well-documented 11-year career in the NHL, well-documented by his sweetheart in scrapbooks.
I think the wives back then, we all did it. I don't know if the new wives now do it or not, but it was something that for our children that they can end up looking at over the years, and eventually when we get significant others and grandchildren, then they'll be able to look at those as well.
Hockey treated the Ecclestones very well, but after his playing career ended with the Atlanta Flames in 1978, Tim decided to settle down as opposed to continuing life on the road with a potential coaching career.
Cliff Fletcher was our general manager, and Cliff came to me and said, "Would you like to come to Calgary?" And I said, "Cliff, I don't know. I've traveled and I've got a business here. My kids are young. They enjoy it here." And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to stay." And he said, if it doesn't work out for you, please give me a call. I will find you a job in hockey." And that was nice of him to say that. Almost called him a couple times because I'm not in the most stablest business of all. The restaurant business is a tough business.
Surely he jests. TJ's is a successful entertainment venue, and it's the meeting and greeting point for the 8 or 10 former Flames who still call Georgia home.
I was here in '74 and we acquired Tim from, I guess, Toronto and stuff. So we've been kind of buddies since then. A lot of the same interests, golf, beer, that type of thing. But he's got quite a spot here, so I enjoy sitting here and watching all my fantasy football players. But he is a little older, and I know he gets teased a lot whenever he goes around town. A lot of people see him and wonder what the old man's doing.
The old man was only 20 when St. Louis called him up during the 67-68 season. Blues coach Scotty Bowman asked Kansas City player coach Doug Harvey which minor leaguer could best help out the big club. Harvey suggested Ecclestone.
Scotty just said, we got injuries, Ecclestone's up here. If we need him, we'll use him. If not, I just got out, went around, warm up, sat down beside the spare goaltender. I had the best seat in the house. Opened the gate, just worked the gate until we got to a point where he needed me, that somebody had a minor injury, whatever, and so I ended up playing the rest of that game, stayed on the road trip, and never went back to the minors. It was pretty militaristic back in those days. They talk about here, you read the paper where a guy has a bad game or two, and they're talking about maybe putting him in the minors for a while or sitting him on the bench, and we had a bad practice. You better worry about going down if you had a bad practice back in those days.
Ecclestone lists Harvey and Dickie Moore as those that had the greatest impact on his career. Gave him a break and showed him the ropes.
I'm about 19 years old, Doug Harvey and Dickie Moore. Oh, yeah. These are the two guys. I was in the dressing room after one of our victories in St. Louis.
The two Montreal greats finished their careers with the successful first-year Blues.
Looking back on it, I was pretty young at the time, 19, just turned 20. Pretty excited. There's a lot of people in this game that are Hall of Famers that never got to the Stanley Cup Finals. And here I am in my first 3 years going to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think this is pretty easy.
The so-called goal, and if you were to look on TV, you'd probably end up in a situation that'd be back over just on the other side over there. Pretty good view of it.
In February of 1971, Ecclestone was traded to Detroit with Red Berenson for Gary Unger and Wayne Conley.
I was thrilled going to Detroit, too. I sat there in that dressing room, and Mickey Redmond and I happened to sit beside each other, and we look across. Here's Alex and Gordy. You know, this is guys you grow up listening to and watching on TV. It was kind of special there. And so that was a fun time, too. And just to see Gordy out there. Gordy was at the time, I got traded there, I think I was 22. Gordy would have to be 42. And I'm telling you, Gordy was the toughest guy on our team at the time. Yeah, he was amazing.
When you were playing in Detroit, I was about 6 or 7 years old. And, you know, the Flintstones were big then, so Ecclestone was humorous to a 6-year-old because of your last name. But I do remember you for that, and I also remember you for your hockey card because it was a little bit goofy. I don't know if you still have any of these, but especially the haircut.
Look at that. Well, it's a little better than it is now. yeah, look at that. That's a while back. What does this one go for, about 10, 12 cents now, you think?
I'm not sure. Tim still had a full mop when he was shipped to Toronto in November of 1973.
The whole thing about the Toronto Maple Leafs, just being part of that and walking those hallways and seeing the people that I used to listen to on radio, watch on TV, their pictures on the wall, and even going back to the closing of Maple Leaf Gardens, the history of that building. And then I went to the All-Star game in Toronto. I didn't really go and watch much of the game. I wandered the hallways, and I just looked at the history of the game and all those veterans and those teams that won the Stanley Cups. And probably that's the part that I remember, just being part of that whole organization for such a short period of time. But, you know, at least I was a Maple Leaf for a while.
In 1974, Ecclestone ended up in Atlanta. Obviously, he fell in love with the place. Active in the community, his annual golf tournament raises money for less privileged youth hockey players.
There's a lot of kids out there that can make the travel teams, but they don't have enough money to travel because down here in the South, if you go to Montreal or go to Toronto, it's pretty expensive. So we want to make sure that any kid that can play on the travel team, and he will travel with that team.
A hockey family man helping hockey families. Ecclestones. Meet the Ecclestones. We're here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, a mecca in this region. They love their college football, they love their college basketball, but it's NASCAR country. #1, it's all about stock car racing. But you know what? Hockey's coming on fast, it's coming on strong. Hockey in Dixie. Yeah! Some things never change.
What's the best part about hockey?
They fight.
Let's face it, a good portion of the novice hockey population is drawn to the violent aspects of the game, similar to casual auto racing fans waiting for the crash.
Pucks flying, hockey sticks going, the fights, the excitement, all the people running into each other, throwing them in the walls. It's just awesome. It's fun.
Like, I've been to Rangers game at the Garden, so it's so different up there because everybody's like, you know, and it's like cussing, and here it's like, get the puck, and you don't, you know, it's like it's a total new experience. So everybody's kind of like, well, we don't know how to take it. It's just kind of exciting. Mostly people here because we're like, you know, take your shirts off and fight.
Actually, fighting is gradually becoming just part of the package. along with all of the other elements of the game hockey fans love.
It's a professional sport, professionally played, and it's a very cheap ticket. As far as entertainment, it's great. I saw a couple of Wolves games when I was in Chicago, and I know these guys really can get after it.
As a result, amateur hockey players are getting after it. Youth and adult league participation in the Carolinas has grown 400% over the last decade. The NHL's Carolina Hurricanes offer multiple programs, like a summer hockey camp for all ages, and the Canes Street Stormers, introducing the game via local charity organizations. NHL and East Coast Hockey League professionals, for the most part, are happy to aid in the education process. Particularly in Dixie, community relations is a huge part of selling hockey. Fans love the opportunity to interact and ask those quote-unquote stupid questions.
I wouldn't say too many stupid questions. One that often comes up and came up in Louisville and Charlotte both a lot is, are you from Louisville or are you from Charlotte? And to that we just ask them right back, how many professional hockey players do you know from Charlotte? Right. And usually the answer is none, so it answers our question for them.
I thought you were going to say, what's icing?
No. I think the fans have been pretty well educated here. I mean, it's been here for 10 years, I think, in Charlotte, and they know what's going on out there with that kind of stuff. And I mean, they still like to come to the games to see the fights, and there's 1/3 of the fans that just want to see the fights. But what can you do about that? I mean, they're here, they're paying their money, and they're energetic, and that's all we can ask for from the fans.
We had close to 5,000 people here last weekend. It was a great atmosphere. The fans want to see a hard-working team. They want to see a team that wins, and until that happens, we're going to have to. We're going to have to buckle down because we work hard, but we got to win some games for these people here in this market. They want to see a winner. So once that happens, the fans will start coming out.
Winning is a factor that tends to cut to the chase. It crosses demographic lines for any team in any sport.
I think that last year our playoff drive really helped. We had our backs against the wall and we fought back, and I thought that meant a lot to the community. But now we want to take it to the next step and win a couple rounds and see how many people come out. But this year the support's been great, and I think we're feeding off it on the ice.
It's been tremendous. Certainly when we started in Greensboro, and we have a small core of diehards, obviously, who would drive to every game. And it's grown each and every year. I think last year's playoff run against New Jersey, the fight that our team showed, really hit a note with the fans. On the other hand, we've got some room and some quiet time here that we've been able to break some young kids in. I think that's been very good. We've got 6 guys that are just into their second year in the NHL, and it's allowed them not to have to be exposed to the media scrutiny that somebody maybe in Toronto would have to go through, a young guy.
As Maurice admits, could be a factor in coaching longevity as well. Meanwhile, upstairs, business office types continue the battle in possibly the ultimate non-traditional hockey market.
It took a couple of years, quite frankly, being in the South, not being a home market for hockey. A lot of folks who lived here, including myself, growing up here, didn't grow up with the sport. But it's a sports-passionate market. We've got 26,000 people a year moving in here, many from Canada, who've come down with Nortel and Ericsson and IBM and the other telecom companies. And many from other cities in the U.S. that are used to having professional sports franchises.
Maybe the truest bellwether of hockey's status, the fact that 7 professional franchises operate under Carolina blue skies. The Hurricanes at the highest level, plus in the ECHL in South Carolina, the PD Pride near Florence, the Columbia Inferno, and the South Carolina Stingrays in Charleston. In NC, the Charlotte Checkers, the Greensboro Generals, and the Greenville Growl.
I think it's pretty good. I think more and more people are beginning to understand the game here, and from what I can tell, it's taken off. It's really been a hit, I think.
They don't understand hockey etiquette yet. Keep your butt in the seat when the puck is in play, but they're learning. But it's not all transplants, a lot of local people.
Transplants and locals alike, buying tickets, buying food, and buying merchandise. And best of all, learning and loving the game. Here we are, Maple Leaf America, with the National Hockey League in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the Hurricanes are hosting a team from Columbus, Ohio. Say what you want about expansion, it has definitely exposed hockey to some non-traditional markets. Speaking of non-traditional, when we come back, it's our travel log segment. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Robert Docker. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. I love the Leafs and I love Gary Roberts and Curtis Joseph. I'd like to say hi to my parents, Jack and Georgie Docker in Dunnville, Ontario.
Hi, my name's Jeff Bentley. I'm from London, Ontario. I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. My favorite Leafs are Daryl Sittler and Davey Keon from the 60s. I'd like to say hi to Mom and Dad back in London, Ontario. Thanks.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. We're in the backwoods of North Carolina, about 45 minutes from Charlotte and about 5 miles north of the town of Locust. I'm sure you've heard of it. This is the Reed Mine. It's the first place gold was discovered in the United States. 1799, 50 years before the California Gold Rush. There's gold in them thar hills. Let's check it out. Who actually said gold in them thar hills? May have been the Californians or miners in the Yukon, but it also very well could have been heard in North Carolina 203 years ago.
In 1799, a 12-year-old boy who went fishing here in this creek, Little Meadow Creek, actually accidentally ran across a 17-pound gold nugget. Didn't know what it was, so his family used it for a doorstop for 3 years.
The Reed Mine is a cool place, literally, to take the family. As for the educational experience, Susan Smith will make sure you leave well informed.
What they were trying to do is determine whether the vein of quartz that's directly overhead and going back in the direction on the right-hand side to the front door, they were trying to determine whether it actually contained gold. And at the bottom of Linker Shaft, we actually have 4 stops combined into one. On the back right-hand corner will be the bottom of Linker Shaft. What you'll be able to see back there is the kibble or bucket that would have been used not only to haul out the rock, but also in order to get the miners to and from work each day. That would have been their elevator. You end up with some good quartz. What you'll have your tunnel looking like is this, which is the beginning of vein 4. You'll notice rather oddly that the walls are tilted. All of the veins of quartz in this part of North Carolina form at a 30 to 45 degree angle.
In case anyone got lost at any point, you just follow the exit signs. Bottom line, what about the goods? This is real gold nugget. Ooh. Can I just crack that little bit off there and put it on my tooth? More gold. It's always attached to quartz?
Here it is.
Here it is. Visitors to the mine can actually pan for gold. We skipped that part. We had our nuggets handed to us. Of course, we had to give them back. Enough to drive anyone into a hole in the ground. Well, as we mentioned in the first episode of Maple Leaf America last week, we kind of had the budget and timing issue on the name and number. It was never taken care of, so we're going to try to take care of it here in Charlotte at Anna's Alterations. Best of luck. This is not Anna. Hi there. I was wondering if you'd help me out. I'm looking for the name and number for a Toronto Maple Leafs road jersey.
We don't offer those services here. Go away, tall freak.
Well, apparently not. Stay with us. Many professional hockey players from Ontario coming up next.
Hi, my name is Jerry Mickles from Brantford, Ontario. I'd like to say hi to my family in Brantford, especially Mom and Dad. Favorite all-time Leaf is Daryl Sittler.
Hi, my name is David Stone, and this is my daughter Taylor, my son Daniel. We live in Charlotte, and our all-time favorite Leafs are Daryl Sittler and Mike Palmetier, and I'd like to say hello to my mom and dad.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. We are here in Greensboro with the Generals winger, Chris Broussard, who's from Mississauga originally. How's the lifestyle treating you down here?
Oh, it's not too bad. It's the weather's a lot different, so which is good. You know, don't have to worry about snow, and we can golf and things like that. So it's a big difference from living in Ontario.
4 years in Dixie. You like the folks?
Yeah, actually, the people here are a lot different than people from Ontario. I think it's more settled here. People aren't so material, things like that, and you get along very easily with people down here. They're very friendly, which is really cool, and they're easy to get along with.
Let's see how a couple of your teammates and maybe some other guys around the league and other transplanted Ontario-borns, let's see how they have adapted to the lifestyle down here. Call this an informal poll or testament or report, a slice of the hockey life for Ontario natives passing the puck and passing the time down south.
I was playing in Greenville and I met my wife, and she's from Columbia. She was just up working for the Greenville News, and I met her through one of her friends that was working for our hockey team, and I sort of just told her, listen, I'm going back home to Canada. I had rented a cottage right on the water, and I was by myself. I said, if you want to come, you're more than welcome. And she didn't really like her job all that much, so she decided to take the summer off and come with me, and we've been together ever since.
It's a more laid-back style of hockey. Like, the fans are really laid back, and they love their fights down here. It's like they ask a fan down here, and it's the #1 thing they like to see is a fight.
Slowly but surely, we're bringing fans to the game, and everyone here realizes that it's a great spectator sport in person. It's not the same on TV. So our key's always been to try and get the people to come out and watch, and that's what will get them coming back.
I hate grits. I don't like sweet tea. It's warm. It just tastes like cold coffee. But I do like the golf courses here.
I stay Canadian. I get the baked potato. I stay away from the grits. I can honestly say I've never had one, and I have no desire to have any, so I stick with the Canadian stuff for food.
It's a little different, especially the more south you go, it's a different eating style. In Louisiana especially, it's a lot of Cajun food, so I was eating a lot of Cajun food, but I find the people are very polite, the southern people.
It's funny at times. I'm Italian, so people think I have a big accent, but considering listening to these people talk the North Carolina accent, it's a big adjustment, but it's hard to get used to. But I'm supposedly starting to talk like them now, so it'll be all right. Where y'all at? Where y'all at?
Yeah, I have trouble understanding the accent sometimes, but it's not so bad. I mean, it's still English. It's hard understanding European with a French accent. That's the tough thing.
We hope you enjoyed our whirlwind tour of hockey in the Carolinas. After we finished shooting the show, we decided to rush to this spot on the map, the Mason-Dixon Monument. If you're like me, you've heard of the Mason-Dixon line, but you're not quite sure if it's a county line, a state line, maybe some type of family feud. Well, guess what? We still don't know. These 3 slabs reveal nothing. All I can tell you is we continue to move north for next week's show. We'll see you next week on Maple Leaf America.